Okay, the Board of Zoning Appeals for Kent County, Maryland, this 18th day of November is in session. Dr. Al Townsend, Joan Horsey, and John Massey are sitting. David Hiddle is observing. Tom Yeager is serving as attorney for the board. Mark Carper is serving as staff. Beth Grieve is serving as clerk. The board has before it the application. The board has before it one application. The clerk will now read into the record the notice of the hearing, all pertinent facts, and will identify all correspondence received in this matter provided to the members of the board.
The following notice was posted in the Kent County News on November 14th, 2024.
Give me the name on the application.
On Monday, November 18th, 2024, at 5 p.m., the Kent County Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing in the County Commissioners' Hearing Room, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland, to review the following application. Sheila B. Vanentorp and Franklin J. Lamont Jr. are requesting a side setback and buffer variance in order to expand an existing dwelling. The property is located at 29303 Glencoe Road, Kennedyville. Members of the public may attend the meeting in person or observe and/or comment by phone. If you have any questions, please contact the department at 410-778-7423. If you need communication assistance, please contact the Maryland Relay Service at www.mdrelay.org or 711 for voice/TDD. Letters were sent to adjacent property owners on September 13th, 2024. There has been no correspondence received. The property was posted on September 13th, 2024.
What was it, September 24th?
September 13th,
September.
2024 was both the letters were sent to adjacent property owners and the property was posted.
Okay, thank you.
The hearing will follow this procedure. The applicant will present their case, after which the board and anyone present may cross-examine them in regard to their testimony. If the applicant should have any witnesses to speak on their behalf, they each will testify, and the board and anyone present may cross-examine each witness in regard to their testimony. Anyone else present who wishes to testify on behalf of the applicant may do so and then be cross-examined. Protestants may then testify, after which each may be cross-examined in regard to their testimony by the board and anyone present. The board at its discretion may call staff or another person deemed appropriate to testify, after which staff and the witness called may be cross-examined in regard to their testimony by the board and anyone present. After everyone has testified, then the applicant and protestants may each be allowed to present closing arguments. Will the applicant please come forward? And if you raise your right hand, you declare testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. I do. Please be seated. State your name and who you represent.
I'm William Crowding, and I'm here representing Mr. Lamont and Miss Van Antwerp. They're a little old, and traveling at night gets a little difficult for them, so
Okay.
I'm going to represent them today.
And let us know what the application is about.
Well, Mr. Lamont and Miss Van Antwerp, they bought this property and house in 2013, in December 2013. It's a house was built around 1948. It's brick outside, brick inside, has old metal windows in it. And by about the middle of January, they realized they were going to have to do something a little different. They were like freezing to death with the furnace going full blast all the time. So they ended up getting an architect in there and a builder. And after looking at the house and the interior, it was decided that they would probably be better off building an addition on and renovating the entire house and bringing it up to code. Nothing in the house is at code right now. So the house is almost entirely within the 100-foot buffer, and there is a detached brick outside and brick inside garage with a studio bedroom in it. Being a detached dwelling, it meets the side yard setbacks for a detached building, but however, they would like to combine the house and the garage together and create an additional bedroom back there and a guest room. That would allow them to expand the kitchen in the house. The kitchen is so small in that house that you can literally stand in the middle of it, do the dishes, cook out of the oven, take dishes out of the cupboards and everything else, and never have to move in this room. The entire house is really very compact. What they would like to do with this renovation is be able to create an age-in-place home. So what they end up with their proposed addition is they would need a buffer for the front of the house, and then a side yard buffer, or a side yard variance for the garage, which will now become part of the home. It ends up being 5.3 feet for the side yard, and I believe the front yard was about 10 feet, I believe. No, I take that back, it's 23-foot variance for the front yard buffer. Only a small portion of it will be in the buffer. It's 430-some square feet, at which...
That's for the added master bedroom.
Yeah, the master bedroom will come out of the other side, and hardly any of that will be in the buffer. It's coming out on the southwestern corner
So
of the house.
that's the 23 feet extra.
The 23 feet will be what we're requesting in order to construct the right-hand side of the dwelling, if you're on the water looking at it, to the garage.
Okay.
And there's another addition that's going, but that's out of the 100-foot buffer. The proposed addition for the master bedroom ends up being 78 square feet within the buffer. And the proposed addition, adding the house to the garage, is a total of 338 square feet in the buffer.
And the practical difficulty,
Well, the house is almost entirely within the buffer now. So any addition would have to go out of the rear part of the dwelling, and our existing septic system for air, we just put in a BAT system out there a couple years ago, is in the back of the house, but due to the slopes coming off this driveway coming in there, the only place that, if that system fails, that they're going to be able to replace this system is right directly behind the house on the flattest portion of the lot. And so we want to stay off of that if possible. And there's no other, we've used up just about all the area we can without going into that area we may need at some point.
How much, Bill, did you say the garage was going to take up in the buffer? I wrote 328 square feet, but I
The
think
garage will take up none. The garage is already in it, but we're putting a small addition on the house to connect the two.
Because I have 78 square feet in the buffer for the addition of the bedroom,
Yes,
and there was an additional,
338 square feet where we're adding on to the house. That will expand the kitchen
Okay.
and give us a walking area over there. All the hallways in the house under the new are all going to be expanded. They're barely 2.5 feet wide now in that house. And we're assuming that at some point in the future, we're going to need walkers or wheelchairs. And so they will all be widened. The bathroom's going to become handicap accessible. The master bedroom on the other side is going to allow for movement around it. Now when you go in there with a double bed in there, you're duck walking around, everything to get around the house. I'm assuming they loved a lot because they couldn't have loved the house.
I read the description of all of the requirements to allow for a variance and
Yes.
your responses, and they're all great responses.
I
And
think we've met
it's
all.
already in the record, so we don't need to
Okay.
have you go back through it again.
yeah, you can adopt the proposed findings of fact as your
Right.
findings of fact.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Ms. Horsey, you have any questions? Mr. Mattson? No. Mr. Yeager, do you have any questions?
No, this is very, very thorough and complete.
Yeah, I have to say it is a very thorough report that you've provided, so thank you for that. with good description of the property and what you want to do. and all. Doesn't appear you've brought anyone else to appear in your behalf, and doesn't appear that there's any opposition to.
I think they had enough at planning commission. They decided they didn't need to come tonight.
Yeah, they were at the planning commission meeting, and they were elderly, and it was a little challenge, I think, to stand up and to
Yeah.
get around you.
And I have no other questions either. Do you want to make a closing statement?
No, sir.
Okay, if you'll step back, we'll discuss it.
Oh, yeah, staff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
staff
Yes,
report.
staff.
Yes.
That's right. Oh, there isn't anyone in
There
the
isn't
audience
one
either.
online, and
Okay. Staff report? Do you declare the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Seated, state your name and position.
My name is Mark Carpenter, Associate Planner with the county.
Okay. And staff's recommendations.
Staff does recommend approval of this requested variance, both for the side yard and for the buffer variance. Critical Area Commission has reviewed it. They have no opposition. The Planning Commission has reviewed it, has recommended approval as well. The only condition stated by the Critical Area Commission, also iterated by the Planning Commission, is that with this application for the permit, that a buffer management plan be presented and approved for the mitigation for the increase.
Okay. Any questions for staff?
The only question I had was the Critical Areas Commission recommended mitigation, Planning Commission recommended the buffer, a plan for the buffer management.
Yeah, there are two types of mitigations required for this kind of application or this action. One would be for development within the buffer, which requires the variance, which they hopefully will receive. That is a 3-to-1 mitigation. So for every square foot of increase or impact, you have to plant 3 times that amount within the buffer. And there is some addition outside of the buffer. So this is an increase in lot coverage. And the mitigation ratio for that is a 1-to-1. So for every square footage of increase outside the buffer, they have to plant a square foot within the buffer.
yeah. On their application, they requested a 5.3-foot side yard setback variance, and they also requested a 23-foot front yard setback variance from the required 100-foot setback. On the Planning Commission, it says the 5.3-foot variance from the 15-yard setback and a buffer variance. It doesn't give a footage.
The buffer line is 100 feet from the mean high water line.
Okay.
So it's just a difference in terminology. So the 23-foot request is moving toward that mean high water line.
Okay.
So are we asking for 2 variances, buffer variances?
Front yard and side yard.
The front
Yes,
I
sir.
guess the front is the waterfront, because it's a waterfront lot, so the front
Yes.
is the water side.
That's correct.
So we'd have to request, or grant a 23-foot front yard?
I guess the phrasing can be either way, as a 23 front yard variance or a buffer variance.
Okay. All right. That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Yeager, have any questions?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it seems like the applicant's done a great job in presenting all the information necessary for us to make a decision. It seems like they've met all the requirements for the variance. And it's, the total project is going to bring the house completely up to code, which it is not now, and that's going to be a good thing for everybody. So it seems like we probably should go ahead and make a recommendation for approval.
Chairman, you want to do
You want to do it?
one last time?
There you go.
Okay, I move we approve the application of Ms. Van Antwerp and Mr. Lamont for a 5.3-foot variance from the 15-foot side yard setback and a buffer variance in order to expand an existing dwelling within the 100-foot buffer to connect with a detached garage and to include the addition at 29303 Glencoe Road, Kenny DeVille, in the second election district. I guess with the following conditions, that they submit and approve a buffer management plan.
As part of that
The
motion,
mitigation, you want to do it? Go ahead.
as just part of that motion, do you adopt the findings of fact by the planning commission, the findings of fact submitted by the applicant?
Yes, you may add that.
Do you want to do anything about mitigation?
Well, with the mitigation at a ratio of 3-to-1 for all disturbance to the buffer, plus an additional 1-to-1 for the square footage of the canopy removed, and the submission of the buffer management plan. So, the mitigation and the management plan.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion passed. They'll be notified within 30 days.
Probably won't see you again.
Okay,
Pleasure coming before you. Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Crowley, I'll see you in court tomorrow.
Would you like to stay? I don't see any beer there.
I'll see you in court tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
We also have the minutes from the previous meeting we need to pass. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Hector, I mean,
want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes of the October 21st, 2024 meeting.
second motion.
And Mr. Hill, you can. Yes, I pass judgment on this one, too. All in favor? Aye. Okay, minutes passed, too. We've had a chance to review the decisions that Mr. Yeager presented to us, and we've all approved it. If you have those available, we can sign them.
She already took care of that.
Carla put a set on the desk.
They're right there. She took care of it.
Do you need a blue pen?
I have a
Blue
black
pen.
Black pen.
The black, okay?
Sure. You want to use the same pen?
You got a pen? Yeah, you got a pen.
Hold on, I'll get this one.
You got the hard cases.
Yeah.
That's because,
I appreciate it.
just so happened that
Yes.
bad,
Bring trouble, no.
bad timing for me. That back, he's got a pen.
We'll make a motion to adjourn. Anything else we need
There
to
you
do?
go.
Any other? No other business?
There is a small repast prepared for you, so you guys can celebrate. And I thought you might want to take some time, once we start the meeting, to maybe reflect on some of your time here. I'm sure some folks would like to say something to you.
You want to close the meeting first?
That's up to you. You certainly may. It's not
Carla,
official
they put her
business.
sign.
Motion to adjourn. Yes, sir.
Second the motion.
All in favor?